We made it 6 weeks later, the final day of Saratoga. I'm not sure what shape these videos are going to take in the future. I was just going to do them for Saratoga, but we'll see. It's been kind of fun. So, maybe when I have, my watch list is huge now, so I'm sure that I'll probably do something anyways. We'll see what happens. So let's get into it for Monday. Of course, they're on the turf today. Like they were going to be on the turf. It didn't matter what happened for rain yesterday. And it actually ended up being a pretty good card. Hopefully you had some luck there. Today looks all right as well. The first race I'm going to start here. The one equal pay is going to take a diseased amount of money. She deserves to be back. She's got a funny way of going though. Like she tripped herself here when she stumbled. And then I was watching her in her next start and she kind of crosses her legs. Like obviously she's not doing that too much in the morning because the works here are pretty good. She deserves to be the favorite. They're keeping her in a maiden allowance, which is good too. They paid enough money for her, so they obviously still have some hopes, some high hopes that she's going to pan out. The inside post position probably helps. She had it last time. She used her speed but got challenged. So it just kind of depends on what else happens in this field. I guess we have to use her. I'm talking about this race because I do have a watch list horse. It's the 4 I'm Perfect 2. She had a horrible start. We'll actually take a peek at that. We'll look at the head on. So she's the 6 horse in here. And this is her first start. So right here, you can see she broke maybe just a half a step slow, but boy, did she ever get crushed after that. I'll take just one more quick look at it here. You can see like I don't know what the 5 was doing. 5 was molesting everybody. It was horrible. She ended up finishing second here. She was so far back in this race. Like it was unbelievable how far back she was. So yeah, I won't show you the rest. She closed up a ton of ground to finish a fast closing second. Is this race legitimate? I'm not entirely sure. It's tough to say. Towering Orbit was the winner. She did nothing in her first start and then was able to just control on the front end in that second start. I don't know, where is she going to go from there? So, yeah, jury's out a little bit. There's only been one returning horse to run after that, and it was, Vivazano. We can't even get a gauge on that because she ran on the turf. Actually, she did run here. This was her next start. So she just missed in a maiden allowance on the slop going 9 furlongs. Again, not a good gauge. I don't know. It's a bit of a toss-up. The 7 someday maybe I'll throw in for exactas as well. So the 1 definitely underneath just in case with the 4 and 7 on top and probably the other way as well, of course. We'll move on now to race number 5. We'll see if equal pay runs out, it's going to pay well. If she doesn't, it won't. A mile and a 16th on the grass for race 5, a maiden allowance field. The 1 horse Tackle, so yeah, that's well documented. The Mike Maker barn slowed down considerably in the last few weeks. We've talked about that here before. But this horse looks okay down on the inside as he makes his first start for the Maker stable. I don't mind him. I do like the 3 horse Conglomerate though. Conglomerate 4 to 1 on the morning line, hasn't seen racing action for a year. But with Chad, it's Chad. Is plus 180 days. He wins 25%. He's a 25% trainer. He wins 25%. So it's like a non-stat. He runs them when they're ready. Work pattern looks steady enough. He's on the ticket. The 6 horse Realm of Law for IRAD. He gets on the ticket. It's the other Chad horse. He's probably going to be the favorite. So I think the race goes through him. I'll place 6 and 3 and I'll throw the 8 in there, American Law too. Not big prices here, but just looking to, hopefully get a couple exacta plays early on in the card. And then we can maybe do a little bit of firing later on. No, don't do that. Just bet when you have a serious opinion. Don't do any of the firing. It's just not the way to go. A mile and a 16th on the grass for the 2-year-old maiden special here in race number 8 is the next one that I wanted to look at. It's a rugged little race. The 2 horse Consumer Spending, another Chad horse. Chad has a ton on the card today. If he doesn't win 4 races, I would be surprised. He'll probably win 3 for sure. He may win 4. Consumer Spending gets Manny Franco. The typical Flavien Prat ride. Had the horse so far back and then she came flying late. She really closed up nicely. It was impressive. She did everything right. She looks ready to step forward and graduate. at not a big price. Exacta plays go with the 6-horse Old School, first-time starter. This is huge breeding here. This is like Bobby Flay. Bobby Flay is really investing in the business, trying to get some good mares and breeding. Like this horse went to Frankel. Frankel stands for $6 billion, right? So Old School, if she has any ability, I mean, just her pedigree alone, she's already worth a ton of money. She doesn't even have to run. So, but obviously they want to win. And winning at first asking would be the best. The 7-horse Silvery Hill, another one that I'm quite interested in, just missing in the debut. Rosario away again, Kentucky. I'm assuming he had an okay day there yesterday. And the other one that I like is on the far outside, Hedy Lamar. Hedy Lamar, I don't know. You know, it's another Chad horse, right? So yeah, there's Chad. Why not just throw 6? His whole barn is running today, I swear. Hedy Lamar, first time starter. She's up against it a bit from the outside post position. So probably the 2 consumer spending, along with the 6th and 7th there in race number 8. The 10th race, we're just bopping along here. It's the Hopeful. I don't think it's a solid betting race. I think there's, 2 horses in here, obviously, that look like the ones. The 6-horse Wit for Todd Pletcher. He was so dominant in the Sanford. Like, it wasn't even funny. I mean, he crushed everyone else. Who'd you beat? I don't know. I mean, who did he beat? That's a long time ago, July 17th. So let's see what happened in their next starts. Dance Code finished 9th in a stake. Ottoman Empire 7th. Kavod 5th. So these are all, they all ran in stakes and they all kind of just did their thing. It's the Beyer figures. We'll see if there was any improvement, and there really wasn't. There was regression for everyone except for Trust Our Journey, ran kind of back to those 56. So, yeah, I mean, you can only beat who you're in against. That's sort of how it goes. The 8-horse High Oak, another one undefeated. So these are both undefeated horses. Gunite returns here to face him again. He looks legitimate enough. So Double Thunder came out of this race to win. Here he was. So yeah, that was the sapling at Monmouth. So already we're saying, maybe there was a little bit more quality in that race than there was in the other race. He's the only one to come back to win, so we don't know yet. But a pretty solid speed figure of 90. So yeah, it looks like those 2. I would throw the 3 Gunite in as well, although he's kind of exposed his form. I mean, he's run quite a bit. But he looks like one of those horses who's just kind of figuring things out. His speed puts him in a good spot, especially with that post position. But in these races, like these kind of horses defend. I like Cathal Lynch. I've made a ton of money betting his horses. This horse, though, I mean, he's here with one intention. Saya's riding, like, I got to tell you, he's obviously going to the front. There's always enough speed in these 7-furlong 2-year-old stake races because a lot of these horses, that's all they've done so far is shown speed, and that's why they were able to break their maidens early and get a chance at these kind of races. It doesn't mean that they are good. It's always something to remember. Race number 12, the last one, the Saratoga, 5.5 furlongs on the grass. Maiden 40 fillies, New York bred. What a way to close out the meet. And why wouldn't I talk about it? Because I like a couple of long shots here. The one, Obladi, has enough horrible form that she's not likely to take a lot of money. I actually, like the Saratoga race here was not good, so based on this race, she shouldn't take any money. But she has the inside post position, and she has a little bit of tactical speed. I don't think she's completely horrible. I mean, I'm not touting her to win by any stretch of the imagination, but for trifectas or exactas maybe, but definitely somewhere on the ticket lower on. The 3 Barrel of Bliss, same story for her. She's got that speed. She's got an inside post position. We'll see what Benji Hernandez can do with her. She's likely to be in the game early on, whether she sticks around late. At least she's 20-1 or higher. It'll be a fun thing to cheer for a little bit. I'm picking some crazy horses here. The 5 Norman Queen. Wesley Ward debuting and maiden claiming is a good stat. Debuting and maiden claiming on the turf is not as great of a stat, but that's okay. I mean, this horse has some works that obviously they try to get a win with her, right? I mean, there's no illusion. She's a Normandy invasion. I don't think they have any illusions that she's meant to be anything special. The Dam is not young. She's had a lot of foals. She's had no first-time starting winners, but she has had a 2-year-old winner. And the turf just doesn't seem to be, like there's not a lot of turf pedigree going on here, to be quite honest. Normandy Invasion himself as a turf sire. Kind of nut in there, right? Turf sprints, 1 for 25, turf routes, 1 for 63. So why wouldn't Wesley put this thing on the grass? First time start. So 3-1 morning line, I think, is completely ridiculous. I'm not sure that this horse is going to be anywhere, but let's face it, she's not in that tough. So just don't take her at a small price is what I'm saying. The 6 horse, don't get sucked into that just because it's Wesley Ward. The 6 New York Supreme for Tommy Bush. I think the race goes through her. I actually think she is the one to beat. Santana rode her here so aggressively from an outside post. She draws better today, so I think she's more in the game. Yeah, it's a good race to end up the card. So for me, it's New York Supreme is probably the one to beat. I'm throwing in those, I'll put Wesley in a little bit, but I'm throwing in those crazy long shots, the 1 and the 3. And I might take a little look at the 4 Stella Mars as probably a logical horse too. She at least has figures that show that she has some ability. Those other ones, I'm taking a complete stab in the dark. But I figured, getting some sun today, I figured it was that kind of a day to do it. And it's the last race. So I'm going to have a break before Belmont. I'm not sure, but I'll see you again. This has been fun, and I've really enjoyed the comments that you guys leave. It's fun to interact. Betting horses for a living can be kind of a lonely pursuit because it's just like literally me and the past performances and replays. I've gotten very good at talking to myself. I argue amongst myself sometimes, which is really kind of entertaining. Maybe I'll film that one day. So have a great final day of Saratoga. If you're playing Kentucky, oh my God, that's tough racing. Maybe I'll do that later this week. Look at a couple of their cards because that's kind of fun. That's a short me too. Actually, that's probably what I'll do. So yeah, we'll check in with you. I think they're running Wednesday. Have a great Labor Day, Monday. Enjoy the holiday, and we'll see you back in a couple of days.